Just a few weeks ago, I came across something on the popular page of Roblox that shouldn't have been there. It was a game to say the least. Not one of those bot-infested free Robux bandwagons. The game has since been taken down, but I will still try to write down everything I can remember happening on there before its removal. I was on the edge of the school year, ready to accomplish all the fun things summer break had in store for me. One of those many things was video games. I know, just another stereotypical teenager. My mother, of course, didn't want me associating with any electronics, so she planned on taking my Xbox 360 and other fun-filled devices for the time being. She left my phone, however, as I had friends I would go out with a lot, and she would call me every once in a while to make sure things were okay. Not that there was anything truly magnificent on there anyways, aside from all the useful apps I didn't plan to make use of. There was one I never considered purchasing in the place of my console games, until the start of summer break. That game was Roblox. My friends laughed at the idea, but upon looking at it, it seemed to offer a lot for being free to play. Plus, I didn't have money, so Minecraft and GTA San Andreas were out of the question, and those were my favorites. So as I was seeking refuge under the roof from the blazing hot Saturday, I installed it. I was actually thrilled, to be honest. Unlike my friends who always thought that games under the rating T for teens were babyish, I really like the idea of an online game that allowed users from around the world to create practically anything they could imagine, though it did require some skill. But I wasn't here to develop anything. I was there to have a great time, and before long I made an account. At the time, I had a guest account, which means I couldn't converse with any players or try on cool accessories. I don't mind, I could always make an account if I wanted to, but I was just trying out the game and thought about deleting it later on, but I didn't. As summer break traveled along, I found myself playing it more and more. I made a large amount of progress on games like Jailbreak and Bee Swarm Simulator, which I was fairly good at, if I do say so myself. I even convinced a few of my friends to hop on, and we had a great time. But all of that fun didn't last long. As the first week of summer break came to a close, I was scrolling through the Roblox website, looking for new games to play. I should have been in bed. It was 9:52 p.m. when I noticed a new game had appeared on the popular page. There were no pictures, and the title simply read, Town of. Surely the title must have been too long to fit in such a small space, so I tapped on it out of curiosity. The game was created by a user called BB727. The title was no more than Town of. I quickly clamped my hands over my mouth, coming to the realization that my parents could still be asleep. I paused a moment to make sure there was no response to the noise I just made, and quickly went back to studying the screen. I scrolled down to see the description, and it simply read, Population, nothing. There were no numbers indicating how many people lived in this strange town. Weird, I thought. And at least 3,070 people are playing it. Or maybe they're just bots. I shrugged absent-mindedly and tapped the play button. It was probably one of the greatest mistakes I made now that I think about it. Upon joining, I was met with distorted music, almost like some weathered radio signal. I immediately shut off the volume to avoid waking anybody up. That's when I really wished I had earphones. But my mother also confiscated those for some weird reason. I skimmed around the perimeter using a third-person view. The skybox was cloudy and red, resembling magma almost. Random blocks and other bits were scattered around the area, but there were no buildings to be seen in the practically desolate green landscape. Where was the town? As I continued to explore my surroundings, I began to feel even more unsettled. The fact that the bots would be on here was a mystery to me. Usually the creators of games like these had something for sale, maybe admin commands, or a sweet item of some sort. This game had nothing like that. No signs of anything special advertising a cool trinket at the cost of some Robux. Maybe this was just some sort of publicity stunt the creator of the game probably just wants people to check out his creation. Though it seemed like a lame idea, seeing as you could literally do nothing but walk around until your ears bled from the horrific sounds that played non-stop. Did you know that if you stay in a place out of your comfort for way too long, you start hearing and seeing things that aren't really there? That's what I'm told, at least. And I almost believe it after what transpired during my time on the game. I began hearing hysterical crying embedded within the white noise. It sounded like a full-grown man. Much to my freaky realization, that wasn't the only thing I heard, however. Incoherent whispers filled the air, and I absolutely swear I could hear my username being spoken every few seconds. I honestly don't know why I refused to leave the game right then and there. By then, it was 10:30, and I felt like I was going to wet myself. Nevertheless, I persisted in my exploration, and before long, a few other players joined. I guess I wasn't the only one curious as to why the game existed. I tried communicating with them, but they simply ignored me. Usernames were disabled, so I wasn't able to tell who they were by looking at them. But I was relieved. The last thing I wanted to do was play alone. The feeling of relief didn't last long, however, as they left shortly afterwards. I was done with this game. I couldn't believe that I had wasted my time. I exited the game and went to find something else to do. Somewhere around 10:50, I received a friend request. Like many friend requests, I would decline them. But this one was different. The second I saw who it was from, a chill was down my spine. The friend request was sent by B_B727. His avatar was the classic pale-haired character, except with green skin. The creator of that forsaken game. Despite my sudden fear, I was in no mood to miss such a case-closing experience. And so I clicked accept. I immediately received a message upon befriending the mysterious user. The message contained 2 words: "Come back." A sense of paranoia welled in my stomach. I mustered up the courage to respond, despite not knowing how to do so. Hello? I typed, reluctantly.
Why did you leave?
B_B727 responded. Nothing was happening. I admitted. I got bored.
That's a shame,
B replied, though his voice was a complete mystery. I could almost sense the eerie, monotone voice he spoke through every word he typed. You know, you could get banned for that, I said, reminiscing on the fact that shoving your own game into a popular section of the site through a horde of bots was against the rules.
What do you mean?
B asked. Oh, you know, making your game end up on the popular page by getting bots to join. It's not really fair to aspiring creators that actually take the time to make a quality game. Do you know what I'm saying?
The townspeople aren't bots,
B exclaimed.
They're real people like you and me. I've never been so offended in my entire career.
What the heck are you talking about? I inquired, deeply annoyed.
Don't you know how lucky you are? For every user who plays on this website, my game only appears for them once. Once, I tell you. And they either ignore it or they take the time to join.
I paused for a moment, considering what the mysterious user just said. I went back to the games page and scrolled down to see it was created in 2010, and already had over 10,000 visits. I clicked on the server list, and to my horror, I saw a variety of different players, all of the different shapes and sizes, colors and personalities. There was no way these could be bots. I went back to chat and confronted B once again. How did you get all these people to join your game? Did you send bots to hack these accounts? How did you do all of this? If you were dumb enough to give the game this information, a bot would sign into your account and begin spamming links to the same game. Only in the case of this creepy game, it already knows your password, and you just have to be dumb enough to click on it. Who knew how many ads and links were being broadcasted now? This was probably the biggest raid ever in the history of Roblox, and I was speaking to the seed who planted it all. Only this wasn't what I thought it was. The truth was much, much worse.
The question you should be asking isn't how, it's why.
A lump formed in my throat. I couldn't take any more of this. I left the chat, deleted the mysterious user from my friends list, and finally shut off my phone, shoving it in between two pillows, followed by slipping into my bed sheets. Despite all that happened, I got to sleep easily. It was no beauty rest, however. I was confronted by nightmares of all sorts. Glimpses of the game I planned on never returning to. Dismembered corpses of my friends' Roblox avatars. And worst of all, the face of B_B727. Only more horrific. A gelatinous, black liquid oozed from his unnaturally large eye ducts, and his gaping mouth bared jagged teeth with bits of rotting flesh. It's amazing how the mind can enhance your greatest fears. They can turn spiders into giant arachnids. They can turn clowns into malicious serial killers. They can turn a simple Roblox avatar into a nightmarish entity. I couldn't help but wonder if I should have done anything. If this was some widespread attack on one of the biggest online games, couldn't there have been a way to warn the ever-growing community about it? What I was most confused about was about the many individuals whose accounts supposedly got hacked. Why hadn't they said anything? There were thousands of them playing at the time. Surely most of them found out about what was going on. All these thoughts manifested themselves into one massive headache, which soon sent me into deep sleep. Upon waking up, I immediately grabbed my phone and logged back into Roblox. I wanted to know everything was okay, that everything I had experienced was just a dream. Everything looked normal. I searched up the game to see if it was still there. It took me a while to find it, but I did. Much to my relief, the game was under review. But the weird thing was that the server list was still filled with players. Had the Roblox Corporation not noticed this? I went to B's user page, but it was forward. I tried to get access over and over, but the same error message kept popping up. Was he banned or not? Oh well. I thought, as long as he can't bother me. That's when I noticed something off. I don't know why I didn't see it beforehand. On the top right side of my screen, my notification box was jam-packed with several friend requests. I scrolled through a few pages, wondering why I was so popular all of a sudden. Could it have something to do with the fact that B was one of my friends at one point? Could all these users have known about him? I examined the top friend request and clicked the accept button. Right on cue, I received a message. How long was this guy waiting on me to notice him? I laughed, but my laughter was cut short when I read what was sent to me. Come back. My blood ran cold. I could hardly process what I just read. Come back. Does that mean what I think it means? I quickly exited the chat box and removed the creepy user from my friends list. Upon clicking on another page, I noticed I had even more friend requests. I shuddered. I accepted at least 10 of them, and upon doing so, I received the same message. Come back. This can't be happening, I screamed in my head. Were these really the residents of B's mysterious town? They had to be bots. It was the only plausible explanation for all of this. Enough was enough. B wasn't going to stop me from enjoying one of my most favorite games. I logged out of my account and made a brand new one. Now you may be thinking, why abandon your account that you spent so many months on, working your way to the top on so many great games? What about all the progress? Just understand that if you were in this horrific situation I was in, you would at least consider it. Of course, making another account was just another door to more terrors. Once I gained access to my profile page, I saw something that shouldn't have been there. This unnatural sighting almost made me lose my lunch. I never thought I would see that forsaken game again. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. I felt like I was going to go insane. I stared at the entrance of the game's page for what seemed like hours. If they wanted me to join so bad, I might as well yield. I wanted nothing more for them but to leave me alone, so I can enjoy myself. At this point, I only had two options. 1. Abandon Roblox completely, or 2. Become the resident of the town of. However that works. I chose option 2, well not yet. It couldn't be bad, right? I reluctantly clicked on the page and was brought face to face with a picture that hadn't been there before. It was out in plain fields with a familiar underworldish skybox and ruins of buildings made from white bricks. I couldn't believe I didn't realize what those were meant for. Still, this odd discovery failed to make me feel any better. B's avatar was standing in the center, and surrounding him were hundreds of other players, all different shapes and sizes and accessories. All of them were staring directly at me. I couldn't help but believe that every one of them was a normal player like me, but brainwashed to live a lifestyle they couldn't ever get out of. That's what I theorized, at least. If this was some sort of prank, it would have stopped by now. They already made their point clear. The chances of me giving up were pretty high, so they would have stopped when I was in my original account. I know in the beginning I said that the game has been removed, but still, who knows how many victims it claimed, and I could be its next one. I'm not sure what fate I might face. Maybe my computer will get hacked and my IP will be revealed. As I write this, I still have the tab up, and the play button jar. The mystery can be solved with a click of a button. I'm just afraid of what will happen. It has been removed. That doesn't mean it won't appear for any of you. I'm afraid I can't tell you what to do if it does. No matter how hard I try, I can't get rid of it. As said by many, curiosity killed the cat. That's the kind of situation I'm in right now. You may be dying to know what's going on, and despite my fear, I'm going to find out. Plus, I may not have a choice. Because just the other day my mother received an email on her phone. She was awfully confused by its context, so she showed it to me and it read, "Are you coming home yet?" The message was from an email user called B_B727.